on here in period 61. Rock and roll here with ZJ International. So if you already haven't done so, feel free to come on the line, state your name, and where your cards from. Let's get that energy going. Freedom Friday, baby. What an exciting time.
Morning. Good morning, Chicago. Good morning, Worsley, Atlanta, Georgia. Good morning, Christina Williams calling from Nashville, Tennessee. Good morning. This is Hazel Harry in Atlanta, Georgia, and I want to remind everyone it's tomorrow in South Atlanta, Peachtree City. We're going to have the opening of a new area called Peachtree City. You're going to be featuring Double Diamond, Doug Cruz, Diamonds, Lisa Adams-Horsley, and Diamonds, Mike Bridges. All the details are on Visa Event. Tomorrow, Atlanta, South Atlanta. Come on out and we'll take great care of you. Hazel Harry, Atlanta, Georgia. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Hazel.
Good morning, Willis Berry, Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Welcome, Willis. Georgia. Welcome.
Good morning, Sarah Farmers, Boston, Virginia.
Hey, welcome, Sarah.
Good morning, Cassandra, Vice Chair, and Close Washington.
Welcome.
Good morning, to Kate in Philadelphia, Ohio.
Welcome, Kate. And Kate, if you want honors, the lines are now locked. It's my pleasure, Paul Lovato, out of Denver, Colorado. Let's pick up this call. We are ready to rock and roll, as I like to say. It's April the 12th, wrapping up with cycle one, and I tell you what, it's an important cycle for those individuals that are wanting to go ahead and get things going at the higher pin levels, maybe qualify for Team Bend. The reality is that we got to do it in cycle one first to do that continuation, and it's just really important to prepare yourself through that process of actually finishing strong. And it's amazing on Freedom Friday what you can come up with, and when you've been engaged team, and it's just so much fun. I mean, sometimes by the time you get into Friday, you get a little bit tired, You've been working with a lot of people, working some hours, working some international shifts, if you will, utilizing time leverage. And you know what? Sometimes you just need a little pickup. And I have to tell you, there is nothing in the world that is more of a pickup than when you're working with ambitious, excited people that get it. And that's what Freedom Friday is all about, is just engaging with those right people. And I really encourage you to, take a moment to think about, what are the characteristics that you would want to exhibit, with your leaders, and that's a great thing to exhibit to them. And so my whole point is that you really can be engaged at a whole different level. We're going to talk a little bit in just a moment about, what was it that allowed the great minds of humanity to accomplish what they have. And I really believe that one of the greatest things that great minds do is they see things differently. I raised my kids saying, what was it about a Da Vinci? What was it about a Michelangelo? What was it about an Einstein that they saw things, figured out things that their contemporaries were really in oblivion sometimes? And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Before we get into that, though, I want to talk about Freedom Friday and about how we can really do so many wonderful things. We heard Hazel Harry talk about an event out in the Atlanta area. She talked about an operative word, a new market. And that's what should be happening all over with our announcement. These brand new markets that are now, star-studded. And you know what, Hazel, that's got to be a lot of gals there in Atlanta, that new market, because I've been told that diamonds are a girl's best friend, okay? So I'm guessing that there's going to be a lot of happy gals out doing all those diamonds, and I know it's going to be a great event. Doug's group heading up that. He's an incredible teacher, and I've had the privilege to go and hear some of his Saturday trainings, and I just enjoyed him so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's really exciting about what's going on here at ZJ International. As I like to say, the train has left the station. And you know what? Where's the next stop? And there's going to be some great stops in Atlanta. There'll be a great stop out in the San Francisco Bay Area. Very excited. Been working with about 5 or 6 groups in my teams out there in the San Francisco Bay Area. Getting to that event, it's just a star-studded event as well. An event that really is right in the midst of the fifth largest economy in the world. That's called the state of California. And so very excited about that event, all the leadership that's stepping up in a big way to help out. And it's been a pleasure to go ahead and coordinate some of that over here, even though far from here in Denver. It's been a pleasure to work with those leaders on site and in the field on the ground. So one of the key things I wanted to share with you before we get into our the power of vision. You know, I actually posted something on my Facebook wall in regards that the fact is that we have an opportunity to see things differently when we could have a different awareness about life, and including in the quote by Leonardo da Vinci, to really develop and complete your mind, you got to learn how to see and realize everything is connected and interrelated. It all begins with that awareness. I'll never forget one of my mentors. He said to me, everything begins and ends with awareness of where you're at in life. And we kind of relate that to a level of coachability. Is really what that relates to. So one of the things I also wanted to remind everybody about, I'm very excited about what's going on in the team, hearing some great results about how this tool, this DVD, this corporate media DVD that ZT International has put out, they have just, really topped themselves, in my opinion, because I believe they went out and got some industry professionals and put together a tool that is just exceptional. And I love this tool because it really does create an opportunity for anybody to literally plug in their DVD and push play. Because you can literally do that. It's exciting to know that, for example, with my mentor Ron Gold, we developed a 7-step push play PBR document at our team website. And one of the things that we talk about on that is the understanding that this is a tool that anybody can do. And so this is all available because of the really extensive amount of effort and money that the company put into this tool. I hope that you have been able to order some of those. I hope you ordered maybe even if they come 5 DVDs for $10. And I hope that you ordered 2, 3, 4 packages of those. Get those to your new people. And here's the beautiful thing. Get those immediately to the day that you start somebody. And that way, because see, they have the opportunity now to engage immediately. It's kind of like the exchange program, okay? We haven't talked about that recently, but the exchange program is very simple. You get somebody started on a build-to-1 or build-to-2, or even a personal pack, and you know what? You don't fulfill their order with your inventory. You just exchange with them right now. That is, you get them started for about a week of inventory, and then when their stuff comes in, when their product order comes in, you just exchange it and fill back your inventory, so you can do that again. And so that exchange program, what does it do? It creates immediate action, because then those people can actually host, sample parties, for example. I know individuals that have done an incredible job of getting their product, and you know what? They've got appointments about every 20 minutes. Somebody's showing up and coming to their house, and they're loading their sample. And it's just been incredible results. All that points to a sense of urgency, and that's what I really wanted to focus on with this concept, is that it's so urgent that we get into action in focused activity. Not just activity, not just an activity that keeps us busy. I love what Wesley Alki says, never confuse activity with results. So with that in mind, it's just an absolute pleasure to share a little bit with you about, let me ask you a question. What is your concept of freedom? What does that mean to you? What if today was a day that you had no shackles related to your budget? What if today was a shackle, you had no shackles related to what you had to do? You could choose what you wanted to do. See, that's really one of the important things about vision is that you see things before they happen. And see, that's one of the things that made a huge difference in my life. Gosh, 15 years ago, having the privilege to, I didn't really know anything about personal development, ladies and gentlemen. I had no idea. Back when I studied biology, everything was black and white. It was science. And guess what? I went into a store, and I can remember where it was, and I saw this. I saw this cassette, that's how long ago, series by Dr. Dennis Whaley. And it was entitled "The Psychology of Women." Okay? And that absolutely blew me away, because what it did is it started a personal development journey that really occurs to this very day, every single day, because life is really all about learning and having an awareness about what's out in your world. And see, one of the key things about leaders is that they're able to go ahead and have what's called, and this is what Dr. Dennis Whaley talked about, they're able to have an instant replay. In other words, they see it in their minds before it actually happens. They pre-play the events in their lives. So for the speaking of events, there's major events all around the country. Are you prepared, and are you preparing your team for those events with the before, the during, and the after sequence of everything in life? You really think about it. You get married, right? You got some things to do before, you definitely got some things to do during, and you definitely got some things to do after. The same thing with, for example, the events that we're representing, for example, out in the San Francisco Bay Area this weekend with the Rosita corporate gold rush, is that there's been, it's been wonderful to see, a dozen or so individuals that I'm working with directly in the San Francisco Bay Area. And guess what? Those dozen people are bringing 20, 30, 40 people each to this event. And that's the key thing is that they were able to get into action before the event. They weren't waiting for the event. They ran through the tape of the event. And that's one of the key things about, I think, Freedom Friday is that same component, that you are running through the tape. You are actually making it happen before the event happens. In other words, you're engaging before it happens. That's such a key component. So, in regards to, why we're talking a little about vision today on April the 12th is that I really believe that personal development is just one of the most important elements of what we do here. My motto is that I use the business to build people. I never use people to build the business. I'll say that again. I use the business to build people. I never use people to build the business. And the reason I say that, ladies and gentlemen, is because, unfortunately, I'm here to say that that's not the common culture in our industry. And common culture in this industry is, kind of make decisions based on what's best for your commission that week versus the developing of a person. And so personal development is so near and dear to my heart because that changed my journey with Dr. Dennis Whaley. I really wasn't actively engaged 50, 60, 70 years in network marketing. I didn't know that much about it. I just found it made sense to me, And so, but I didn't have any idea how to do it. But one thing I did know is that I was infected with a desire to learn what those people had that were in front of the stage. I didn't know how to do that before I sure was wanting to know. And that's one of the key things about personal development is that you have a burning desire to work harder on yourself than you work on your job. And I would say, in parentheses, that you work on your business. See, personal development is all about developing you. Is one of the things that I think is so true in life is you can't pour out of an empty cup. We have to fill up ourselves. We have to continually give back to what we receive. And the best example that I have of that is indeed the Sea of thriving body of water was just unprecedented beauty. And that same water, that same component, ladies and gentlemen, goes down and runs into the Dead Sea. So what is the huge difference? The same water, the difference is the Dead Sea doesn't get out. And what I love about events is that you can get out. You can be involved in touching people's lives. You can be involved in the before, the during, and the after, because you're involved in activities of touching people. And it all begins with that awareness of what is your vision for an event. Do you have a vision that an event is just something to do because of the fact that it's there? Or do you see it as a vision where it changes your business? You know, it's just an absolute honor, though, to say that there was several events, just less than a handful, in my life that absolutely transformed my life, because there was something that happened to those events. One was a social park where I made 27 calls. I spent 5 people a day just to be involved with, what it was like a $99 promotion, for this particular product. And within by the time I was done with that whole process in that company, guess what? Over 10,000 people in that leg business. That was an incredible process that started with a seminal grant. And I encourage you to get a vision to knowing that, similar event in your town waiting for you. What is that seminal event that's going to be the genesis of a huge network? Not 10,000, about 100,000 people. Because that's the nature, that's the caliber of what we're dealing with here at DG International. The last tumbler that you need in the sequence of the 15 tumblers. And when you get those last few tumblers in order, the vault door opens, literally. And see, that's the hunger, the awareness that we want to have. For example, the great Leonardo da Vinci had. She had an awareness that everything began with the vision that they had for themselves. And as Leonardo said, the eye is the window of the soul. What he was referring to is that who you are is develop what you see, what you experience, your awareness. That was the difference of Leonardo, is that he didn't see things conventionally. And matter of fact, if you study his life, you see he was such a visionary. He was literally, ladies and gentlemen, he was literally hundreds of years ahead of his time. Hundreds. Because what they had gone back in his previous work, he was actually working on airplanes. He was working on concepts and technology that we used to. And that wasn't totally developed, but he burned. And what I want you to do today, learn something within you that says, I'm going to have a whole different mindset about Freedom Friday. I'm going to learn from mindset about elements 1 for Team 250. If you haven't done that, I'm going to have a whole new vision of getting my team to be qualified for our zero business overhead model. That's an incredible concept for that we get to touch other people with. And really one of the things that Leonardo talked about, it's really the only coined phrase, by the way, sapere vedere. It's Latin, and it means knowing how to see. And so, thank you, Rebecca, on that. I appreciate that. And so I'll hold my microphone up to see if that's a little bit better. And what I wanted to go ahead and say is that sapere vedere is incredible when you know how to see differently than contemporary. Because, see, the marketplace full of individuals that, we have to perform with. And we can perform at a high level of awareness and get greater results. And I'm talking about our contemporaries in networking. I'm talking about our contemporaries in personal development. necessarily competing with them, because we don't need to do that. But we do need to have an awareness of how we compete with ourselves. Okay. Part of the dairy is about knowing how we see ourselves, knowing how we see ourselves in the piece of the puzzle of personal development. Okay. Personal development for me is such a key thing, and it really, this Perry the dairy, it's been called the secret to his genius. He worked on that. He worked on it. He was a child. He always had a curiosity. Can you relate to that, ladies and gentlemen? I'm guessing you can, because most of us, when we were growing up, we had a vivid imagination, and in essence, we've learned to turn that off. And what we have to do in this industry, what we need to do to be cutting edge in this industry of touching people with life-changing products, because as Ken Burrell says, what we have to do is touch people with the opportunity for them to see life a little bit differently, beginning with themselves. Well, what Jim Rohn says. Jim Rohn says people, sad, I should say, and that is that, people don't do well in life because they don't feel well. We have a solution to that. So the fact of the matter is that we're harming ourselves first. We're filling our cup. We're giving out as the Sea of Galilee. We're not just hoarding it. We're not just like a TV viewer. To me, that's the greatest criminality of the TV, is that you just sit there taking in. And the reality is that's exactly what the Dead Sea does. Okay? Matter of fact, they say that if you want to see the Dead Sea, you need to go in the next several decades, because you're going to be able to walk across it pretty soon. Have some boots on, by the way. But my point is that things are changing and evolving all around us. And do we have an awareness of how those changes? Because he had a different burning desire. And that's the hope of us trainers on these calls. And every one of the individuals, every one of you within my voice today, you're a leader in your group. It doesn't mean you discounted the opportunity to work with the rest of the team, because oftentimes there's a misperception that we say in this industry that leadership is taken. Okay, it's not given. It doesn't mean that you exclude yourself like a low ranger. It means you work harder on yourself in being coachable, and you know what? And you seize the moment. And so that's the key thing that you want to do: seize the moment here today with what's going on in the event all around you. I've got a simple question for you that you may want to answer to yourself. Might not want to say it out loud, and that is, do you even know where the events are that are coming up in this, in this cycle, for example, this period? Are you ready to go ahead and actually start preparing for those events today? Because see, that's what's so beautiful about these wonderful events that are around, that are 3, 4, 5, guess what? Those are going to be double events. Is because people prepared for those events. They didn't just say, "Oh my gosh, it is the magic day. I need to go." Doesn't happen. Okay. I love what John Wooden says. Anybody that's been listening knows this one, and that is that he loved looking for the player that loved to prepare. All the players love to shoot the ball at the buzzer, and there's pandemonium, and they're being lifted onto people's shoulders and celebrated, but everybody loves that. But John Wooden, he looked for the player that wanted to prepare. That's why he was great. He was so great at preparing his teams for the events. Okay, and the thing is that he was so great at it because he had a group of coachable team players. And that's the beautiful thing that I want to go ahead and spend a few moments on. power of these events. And as I said, are you even familiar, ladies and gentlemen? This is not my job as a national trainer to bring this to your awareness. My job is to have you have this question for your awareness. Do you even know the before, the during, and the after steps? And see, if you don't, what you should do after this call is immediately call him. You know what? Call that person and ask, what should I be doing before these events? What should I be doing, during the event? I'll never forget what one of my mentors told me about what you should be doing during the event. She lined it up in three words: lights, camera, action. In other words, this is the deal, ladies and gentlemen. This is the process that creates the outcomes, where people make decisions. Lights, camera, action. In other words, we have to be focused and know what our role is and play it well. Because, see, everybody in the movie, as the director is saying, lights, camera, action, not everybody is doing the same role, but everybody must do their role well to make those events, an effective event. For guests, remember, it's a team effort. It's your guests that feel whether or not there's a team effort. And that's what I love about the different markets that are growing and working with the group that I have the privilege to work with out in San Francisco. Guess what? They get it. They get this is a team event. This isn't yours, mine, and ours. This is a team. Okay? And so the fact of the matter is, I love the fact that during the event, it's all about lights, camera, action. And then after the event, we've all heard about it. What is it? The fortune is in, everybody's saying it, the follow-up. The follow-up is so key after the event, okay? And so, matter of fact, it's been estimated 50% of the entire volume of the event occurs within 24 hours after the event. See, that's a golden moment for you to already have scheduled meetings after the meetings. See, that's what I've done with the teams that I'm working with at these different events around the country, is I show them to go ahead and have a meeting after the meeting with their team to take those people and provide them, if you will, with the avenue of how to get the result within the next 24 hours. Because here's what we know. When people buy products, that people have an opportunity to experience the products better when you take them. Yes. Sometimes complicated quite a bit. So with that in mind, I want to go ahead and just leave you all with this, ladies and gentlemen, is that it's all about our ability to see things differently in a manner that you can have a Freedom Friday that has a different outcome for you, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to go ahead and plug in this weekend to the events, plug into the process before, during, and after. Learn to see things differently as Leonardo did, Sapere, Vedere. So I want to just go ahead and ask if there's any other announcements that haven't been made at this point in regards to events, any announcements from any of the leaders on the moderator line. Okay, wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. April the 12th, Friday, Freedom Friday. Let's go make it happen, rock and roll. And it's just been a pleasure to share with you. And we'll see you guys at the poker events all around the country. Y'all take care and make it happen there, people.
Thank you. I'm glad and sweet.